Right, let's look at La Unión Europea and what we call definite articles. Oh, this is a big word, but we don't need to really worry about big words. What we need to worry about is how we use these concepts. So, a definite article is literally the word for the. If we say the, we say a definite article. Okay, it's just what we call the word the. Why is it a big deal? It's a big deal because in Spanish there are multiple ways of saying the word the. So el is the in its masculine singular form. So if we are describing a masculine singular noun, we use el. If we are describing a feminine singular noun, we use la. And if we are describing a masculine plural noun, then we use los, and feminine plural we use las. We previously said that nouns ending in dad were feminine, and the vast majority, nearly all nouns ending in ion are feminine as well. So where we have, for example, La Unión Europea, we have union, the ion tells us that this is going to be most likely 99% feminine. Therefore, the adjective that needs to agree with union must be feminine as well. So therefore, we change this adjective to make sure that the a agrees with the feminine adjective union, and the definite article, the equivalent of la, the, goes in front of it. So we have La Unión Europea. La Unión Europea. If we were talking about a car which is masculine, and we wanted to say the European car, we would say el coche europeo with an O at the end. And look how coche changes. El coche, the car, because it's a masculine singular car. Los coches, the cars, because they are masculine plural cars. So we had an S on the end and we changed the to los. But house is feminine. Don't ask me why, but houses are feminine. So la casa. Las casas. So el for singular, los for plural when they're masculine, and la for feminine, singular, las for plural, feminine. Where you have a noun that ends in an S, you need, and you want to make it plural, you need to soften it. So to do that, you add an ES. So if it just ends in this vowel, then you're fine. You just put an S on the end, los coches. But when it ends in a consonant, you need to add an ES on the end to soften the consonant. We have a few other countries here. You will have seen some of them on the map. Jersey es igual in español. It's the same in Spanish. It's an island in the Channel Islands. Escocia, Inglaterra, el País de Gales, Irlanda del Norte, Northern Ireland, Irlanda del Norte, América del Norte, África del Norte, Noruega, Suecia, Finlandia, Suiza. So you have the pronunciation. Now is a matter just of learning those, have a practice of those and learn those. So in this section, we want to look at days and months, días y meses. Remember when we started the course, we had the very first word, buenos días, días. We said that buenos días was not good morning, but really kind of good day. It's translated as good morning, but días means day, and here we have días, days and months. Now we said mes, meaning month, is masculine. And to say a month, we must say un mes or el mes. And because mes ends in a consonant, we also have to add es onto the end of mes in order to make it plural. Compare this with dia, where we just put an s on the end because it already has that softening. You wouldn't have this strange sound in Spanish if you just add an s. Here's the days of the week. Listen to the pronunciation. Lunes, martes, miércoles. Listen to the stress on the E because the accent indicates it. Jueves. I'll say that again because that's quite a strange sound for non-native speakers. Jueves. Remember what we said about the V sound in Spanish, that it's half a B, half a V, much more almost a B sound. Viernes, sábado, domingo, lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo. Time words, so we have yesterday, ayer, today, hoy, tomorrow, mañana. Now let's look at, now we will look at los meses del año, the months of the year, enero, febrero, marzo, remember the TH with sound with the Z, marzo, abril, mayo, junio, julio, agosto, septiembre, octubre, noviembre, diciembre, enero, febrero, marzo, abril. So you've got the consonant, it ends in a consonant, so hence the stress is on that, on the last syllable there. Mayo, junio, julio, agosto, septiembre, octubre, noviembre, diciembre. And the TH sound on the C as well, so diciembre. Numbers are something that you will get used to. This is simply a matter of learning them and practicing and learning, and it is just one of those things that it might take you a little time, but you'll just have to memorize it. There's no better way either than saying and practicing, and really I think it's only when you are in a situation where you are forced to use them that you find yourself being able to manipulate those numbers as you need. But I will read through them so you can get the pronunciation. What you notice, what you will notice as we go through, there's a lot of repetition, because effectively we're using the same base numbers, so similar like we do in English with teens and 20s and 30s. So let's start. Okay, so uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Notice that I'm actually saying every letter. You know, Spanish is, unlike English, you can look at the word and you know you need to say that letter. The pronunciation is indicated, whereas English, there are lots of words that letters that are not said or said in a different way. In Spanish, very straightforward. So you just see it, say it. So let's start again. Just so you can get the pronunciation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's stop there. I'm going to say it. I want you to say it out loud. Remember, open your mouth. 1, 2, 3. Come with me. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. From the beginning again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So let's figure out how we go next. So then we have, remember, the C is the TH sound. 11, 11, 12, 12, 13, 13, 14, 14, 15, 15. So like a K, 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 15. So the Q is like a K, the C is like a TH. 15. 10 y 6. 10 y 6. You see the I in there? We pronounce that I. 10 y 6. 10 y 7. 10 y 7. 10 y 8. 10 y 8. 10 y 9. 10 y 9. 20. Let's look at the 10. So that's 1 to 20. What do we have? So 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So we have 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Again, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. When I was learning Spanish, I always tried to figure out how I could remember the difference between 60 and 70, because they sounded very similar to me. You could get very confused. And a good way of learning is S comes before T in the alphabet, so 60 comes before 70, so 60 comes before 70. That was my way of remembering. Might be good for you to remember that as well. After 100, where we just have 100, then we go on to the 200s and onwards. So we have 100 when it's just 100, but when we start to get 200, 300, 400, we put 100 into a plural when it becomes cientos. So 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1000 is 1,000. And once again, all of the things about masculine and feminine rules apply here as well. So when we have uno, it means a masculine noun, but if we have una, it is a feminine noun. The other point is that when uno is put before a noun, in this case we're using the example a book, then we change it to un. It drops the O. It's only uno when there is no other noun that follows it. You just say one, and then it is uno. Hundreds also have to agree, so we say 200 libros, but 200 casas, because casas is feminine and plural, and libros is masculine and plural. So hence 200, 300 must agree. We talked about 60, 70. Remember, 60 before 70, S before T. The 500, 500. Looks a bit strange. It is. You just need to remember it. There it is there, 500. Why is that? Because here you can see, look, 200, same as 2 from over here. 300, same as 3 from over there. 400, same as 4 from over there. But 500, they just want to be different. You just need to remember it. It's one of those things. It's not the end of the world. We talked about 100 following, but where we have 100 plus a number, it becomes 100. So we have 100 is 100, but any number after it becomes 100. 102, 102. 103, 103. The other thing to remember is in English, we say 121, for example. But the Spanish do not put the and between the hundreds and the tens. They put the and between the tens and the units. So this is why we say 242. 242, literally 242. Yeah. 42. E is the and. Yeah. Here you have a wonderful exercise to do. This gets a little bit more challenging as you go through it, but all of the numbers here you have learned. So just resonate that for a moment. If you think that you have learned all of these numbers, have you learned, can you break them down? So let's just go right to the end. Can you break down this number? 52,400 and 44. But Remember, in Spanish, the and comes between the tens and the units. But from the previous exercise, you will have all of the answers that you need in order to complete this. Have a go at that. And then you can come back for the next step. Then we start to get into the exciting stuff.